What contributes to 80% of the success of your business? Good morning, guys. I'm Michael from the 101 Connection, Australia's premier radio station for business and lifestyle shows, and of course, great music. I'm just down at this harbour. I've got to show you this shot, guys. It's just starting to rain, but isn't this sensational? Absolutely beautiful. What's a little bit of weather? So, yeah, because what I find is that people concentrate on the wrong things, and that's why business becomes a real struggle. And what I mean is that 80% of the success of your business comes from managing the mission, where most people spend it on the 20% of the stuff, which is the management stuff. Management stuff is, how am I going to get my leads? How am I going to get the conversions? How am I going to, increase the average dollar value sale? Yeah, it's important stuff, but it only contributes 20% to the success of your business. And what I find is so many people spend 100% of their time on this. And look, yeah, it will make you grow, but it's damn hard work. I'm not saying ignore it, but just put it in ratios. It's only 20%. When you first went into business, the actual mission of getting in and all the excitement in your planning and that, and you launched it, and then you started getting sales, and slowly when you start the business, you get up and running, and then you forget about growing the business in the exciting phase, in where you actually want to get to, and you start shrinking yourself down to focus on this 20% area. 80% is done by focusing and working on the mission. I want to explain that to you in more detail so you get it. I'll show you an example. As a few of you know, I'm a painter. I specialize in portraits, but I'm going to show you a little still life here. So this is a little still life of ours. I'll put it up on screen. Nice green, looks lovely. And people say to me, oh, I love that painting because I love the colors, the way you did this, the brushwork, the blah, 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 blah. Now let me show you that in black and white. The painting is still there. Everything is still there. Artists will tell you, and I'm doing this for a reason, because artists will tell you that color gets all the credit, but values, or the shading, the blacks to the whites, the different variations in shading, that's what's doing all the work. But the color's getting all the credit. And it's a really good analogy for business. People talk about lead generation, lead conversion, increasing your average dollar value sale. You've heard it all. And it's getting all the credit. And it's doing 20% of the work. It's a bit like color in a painting. Managing a mission, however, is where the big leaps come from. Because managing the mission is then going, okay, I got to here, I'm grateful for what I got, and then asking, what next? Where can I take this business next? And when you set those next set of goals, or next set of parameters, you start to say, right, to get to that, this is what I'll need to do. This is the look, this is the feel, these are the people I'll need to connect with, this is the improvements I'll need to make to my product range, these are the new products and services I'm going to have to bring in. Oh my goodness, now I can start adding in some IP and adding real value into the business. Maybe the business is starting to buy assets. Maybe I'm doing professional joint ventures with people now. I'm writing them up in single page joint venture forms, and if you want to talk to me about that, very happy to talk to you about that. And maybe acquiring other businesses. Managing the mission is where 80% of your growth is going to come from. You want to grow quickly, guys. Start shifting 80% of your thinking on managing the mission, and reduce it to 20% thinking about the management stuff. People rave about it to me all the time, and I'm going, even if you're doing a COGS spreadsheet, cost of goods sold spreadsheet, you can knock one up in 5 minutes. If you're talking about lead generation, well, I can kind of work that out in half an hour at the most, maybe, or even shorter. There's so many different ideas in there. The implementation of them is really not taking you that long at all. In fact, I find people, just because they're spending so much time on it, they're wasting so much time. And the biggest expense you've actually got in your life is your time. Honestly, when you go through your cost of goods sold, so you get your gross profit, and then you start taking line items out of that gross profit, and you say, oh, I've got to work out my hourly rate. Yeah, where are you spending your time? It's amazing how it all gets chewed up when you concentrate on the wrong area. And you know, it's a lot easier managing a mission than managing the business. You can get anyone to manage the business, and that's the whole idea of making it grow, isn't it? Get someone else doing the, you know, the task stuff like that. That's what managers are for, and that people are really, really good at that stuff. Get them doing that, and you specialize in what you're going to be good at, and that is your dreams, your ambitions, your goals, and manage that mission. Guys, 80% managing the mission, 20% managing the business, and watch it skyrocket. Look, if you like these types of conversations, why don't you join us on the one-on-one connection? The link will be somewhere on here, so you can download the app even. And if you want to have a one-on-one with me, absolutely no charge. Just click where it says mentorship, click through, we're booking a time, have a real good chat, and see if I can just open some thought process, some doors for you and your business so you can get what you want. As we say, at the one-on-one connection, it's all about connecting you to your success.